Tick tock, tick tock. That clock is ticking in the minds of both Baker Mayfield and Mitchell Trubisky this morning. Now, some of you might be confused why I am including Mitchell Trubisky in this video. He ended up pulling out that improbable win in Detroit on Sunday. But that does not mean that the leash has been shortened or lengthened, however you want to put it. Mitchell Trubisky is still on a short leash. I have been telling you guys for months now, this is a make or break season for both Baker Mayfield and Mitchell Trubisky. And in my opinion, they've only got the first 4, 6, maybe 8 weeks of the season to prove that they belong as the starting quarterbacks of their respective teams. Baker Mayfield is in trouble. I'll be honest with you. Baker Mayfield is in trouble. I said on Twitter Sunday that I could not wait to see the excuses that were going to be made by the Browns or by Baker Mayfield himself or by fans of the Browns for his poor performance, because the excuses are out. The Browns, they are fully healthy. You have an upgrade at head coach. You've got plenty of offensive weapons. You have an elite running back, 2 great wide receivers. You got a great tight end. You have had an entire offseason and training camp to learn Kevin Stefanski's offensive system. I realize that this past offseason was far from normal, but there is no excuse for the performance that we saw from Baker Mayfield on Sunday afternoon. That was god-awful. Terrible. There is clearly a big problem right now in Cleveland, and his name is Baker Mayfield. Watching that game on Sunday, did you notice that not one of the Cleveland Browns star players had any impact on that game? Tight end, Austin Hooper, 2 catches, 15 yards. Odell Beckham, he was targeted by Baker Mayfield 10 times, 3 catches, 22 yards. Once again, just like last season, Baker Mayfield was forcing the ball to OBJ. Once again, just like last season, he is trying to keep Odell Beckham happy. And once again, just like last season, it didn't work. Didn't work then, not going to work now. You cannot force chemistry between a quarterback and a wide receiver. You either have it or you don't. I know that Odell Beckham and Baker Mayfield, they praise each other. They say all the right things about each other in the media. But there's obviously a problem here. Kevin Stefanski even made reference to it after the game. He talked about the many times that Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham didn't connect on the field in the passing game. Talked about how they needed to get to the bottom of whatever the issue is. Well, the problem is no one knows the issue. No one knows the problem. So how do you get to the bottom of something or solve something when you don't know what the problem is? You can't identify it. Like I said earlier, the days of the excuses being made for Baker Mayfield, they're gone. There is no excuse that can be made for the lack of on-field chemistry between Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham. They had 6 weeks in camp. OBJ wasn't hampered by injuries like he was last year during training camp. I don't want this to come across that the problems in Cleveland are all on Baker Mayfield. That's not what I'm saying. Odell Beckham didn't help matters by dropping passes. He dropped a game-changing pass in the second quarter on 3rd down in the red zone. Instead of the score potentially going from 17-6 to 17-13, it stayed 17-6. Because, of course, not only that Odell Beckham dropped a potential touchdown pass, but once again, the Browns failed to acquire a competent kicker in the offseason. He missed that field goal. He also missed an extra point on the Browns' first touchdown. What I saw Sunday in Baltimore was typical Cleveland Browns football. This is why I included them last week in that video I did on 9 NFL teams with 0 chance of making the playoffs. I received a lot of dislikes on that video from fans of any of those 9 teams, which is fine. People generally don't like hearing the truth about their football teams. I'm okay with that. But with all the talent that the Browns have, I said they didn't have a chance at the playoffs because at the end of the day, this is still the Cleveland Browns. They were unprepared, which is inexcusable in week one. You've had the entire offseason to prepare for a divisional opponent, a team you should already know well, and you come out unprepared. There was no rhythm, no team chemistry, no energy, missed opportunities, penalties. The Browns had 3 face mask penalties. Those are drive killers on offense, and they're hard to overcome on defense. The bottom line, the Cleveland Browns, just like last year, are undisciplined. This is a culture problem. The question is Baker Mayfield ready? Or better yet, is Baker Mayfield capable of changing the culture in Cleveland and leading this team? When you've got as much talent as they have in Cleveland, and none have any impact in that game on Sunday, that falls on the quarterback. It is Baker Mayfield's responsibility to get everyone else involved. It's his responsibility to lead the team. And he's just not doing it. At some point, if things continue to go like they've gone in Cleveland since the beginning of last season, there is going to be change for the Browns. And that change will be Baker Mayfield on the sideline with a clipboard in his hands and Case Keenum running this offense. All right, let's get to Mitchell Trubisky. My God, the overreaction to that comeback win in Detroit on Sunday. Looking at Twitter on Sunday afternoon after that game, you would think that we had just witnessed the second coming of Peyton Manning watching Trubisky in that fourth quarter. Now, I'll give credit where credit is due. Mitchell Trubisky was phenomenal in the fourth quarter. Chicago was down 23-6 after 3 quarters. Going into the fourth, the Bears had a 2% probability of winning the game according to Next Gen Stats. Basically, they were done. And Mitchell Trubisky simply took over the game. He was 8 of 10 in the fourth quarter, 3 touchdowns, a quarterback rating of 143.3, damn near perfect. He took advantage of the fact that Detroit thought they had the game won, kind of let off the gas. But sitting here and overreacting, praising Mitchell Trubisky for his excellent fourth quarter, and forgetting about what happened in the first 3 quarters of that game is like praising your friend who got drunk, threw up all over you, and then he cleaned up his own mess. Because that's what Trubisky did. He cleaned up his own mess. If you watch only the highlights, you would think that he was on fire the entire game. When the truth is, Mitchell Trubisky was typical Mitchell Trubisky for the majority of that game, which means he was god-awful. Missing open receivers, making bad reads, looking utterly confused at times. He was the Trubisky that we've become accustomed to seeing on Sunday afternoons. The guy that makes you want to throw your remote through your window. The first 3 quarters of that game, he was 12 of 26, completed 46% of his passes, 153 yards. He was awful on third down. The Bears were lifeless offensively. I keep seeing Trubisky apologists who think he turned a corner in that fourth quarter. Keep seeing them say that if only he was more consistent, the Bears would be fine. This would be a playoff team. The problem is, Mitchell Trubisky is consistent. He's consistently terrible. The real Mitchell Trubisky is what we saw the first 3 quarters of that game against the Lions. What you saw in that fourth quarter was an illusion. An illusion that was aided in part by the Detroit Lions themselves. The Lions lost 3 starters on defense to either ejection or injury. Then, the final drive of the game, DeAndre Swift dropped the game-winning touchdown with about 5 seconds to go. Wide open. No Chicago defender even close to it. He just turned his head too quickly, took his eye off the ball, and made a rookie mistake. The Detroit Lions lost that game. Mitchell Trubisky didn't win it. He is not going to be able to get away with playing that poorly for 3 quarters and win against the better teams in the NFL. I mean, let's be honest. The Lions are mediocre at best. That is not a good football team. Mitchell Trubisky's not going to be able to lay an egg for 3 quarters of a game and beat the great teams in this league. He got lucky. The Bears were lucky on Sunday. That's not going to happen against Tampa, New Orleans, Tennessee, Minnesota, Green Bay. So even though he's riding high right now, don't get it twisted. Mitchell Trubisky is still on a short leash in Chicago. Now, he's in better shape than Baker Mayfield, but I don't think there's a quarterback in the league right now more at risk of losing his job than Baker Mayfield. Some might say Sam Darnold with the Jets, but I kind of give him a pass. He's playing on a team with mostly second stringers. There's not a lot for him to throw to in New York. Baker Mayfield has a team that is loaded with talent, and he just can't get it together. A few more weeks like he had this Sunday against Baltimore, and Baker Mayfield's done in Cleveland. All right, that's all for today. Hit that like and subscribe button. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Leave me a comment in the section below. Are Baker Mayfield's days in Cleveland numbered? Is everyone overreacting to Mitchell Trubisky? Or is this what you think we can expect to see from him going forward the rest of the season? Let me know your thoughts. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Have any questions, a topic you'd like me to discuss, you can email me at BTLKC84@gmail.com. I'll see you guys next time.